Hey everybody, today we're talking about one of my favorite PlayStation 1 games, PaRappa The Rapper. And we just finished playing through this game, and the kids seem to really enjoy it. I played it for Juliana a few times in the past, but I don't think Bennett sat down and watched it before. What did you think?
It was cool.
It was cool?
Mm-hmm.
Anything else?
Interesting and fun.
It's one of my favorites. A lot to do with the style of it. You can see the characters are very cartoony, and they're very flat. They're flat in the same way that like Paper Mario has flat characters, where they're moving around in a 3D space, but when they turn to the sides, you see they're paper thin, which I thought was really appealing. I'm not sure what was around first, Paper Mario or this, but this was the first one I was aware of with that kind of style. And then just kind of the zany, kind of Japanese cartooniness of it really appealed to me. And then, if you don't know, he's PaRappa The Rapper, the hip-hop hero. So he's supposed to be like a pretty cool character with kind of urban sensibilities in a way, which I thought was pretty cool. Kind of like the same way that I thought Toe Jam and Earl were really cool on Sega. You remember Toe Jam and Earl the aliens? Earl's like the big fat orange one, and Toe Jam's the little three-legged red one. And they're kind of like cool guys.
I remember.
They're funky from Planet Funkatron.
Yeah, I remember.
Does it have the same kind of vibe to you with this game, you think?
Mm-hmm, a little bit.
And growing up, like, pretty nerdy, it was kind of fun to glom onto something that was perceived as cool or like had cool aspects. I wasn't really into hip-hop or anything like that. Eventually I became pretty into the punk scene, but this was never really my area, but stuff like this I can really appreciate. And the game is it's got that wacky sensibility to it, and it's got really catchy music. What do you think of the music?
It's really cool.
It's music that'll take your hand out of your mouth when you speak, or they can't hear you. Smile, we're talking about PaRappa The Rapper. So it's only got 6 actual stages in it, so it's a pretty short game. And I would say out of the 6 songs, they're all pretty memorable, especially the first 4. The last 2 are alright as well, but they're not quite as earwormy. But these are songs that will stick with you. Like, I could still recall, even when it's between years of playing them, I could still recall a lot of the lyrics, like the intro for the first one. Kick, punch, it's all in the mind. If you want to test me, I'm sure you'll find the things I'll teach you are sure to beat you. But nevertheless, you'll get a lesson from teacher. Now kick, punch, punch, turn, and pose. That kind of thing. Sounds better with music and with people who can sing. But there's a lot of fun stuff. Bennett's favorite is the reggae rapping frog at the flea market. Is that right?
Yeah.
In the rain or in the snow, I got the funky flow, but now I really gotta go. There's one stage Bennett really likes because PaRappa has to go to the bathroom really bad, and then you go up against all the people you've rapped with, and they're in line to go to the bathroom. So to get to the bathroom, you have to beat them in rap battles, basically. So it's a lot of fun. And it's a quick experience. I'd say you play the whole game in about probably like 40 minutes and you're through the game. Depends how good you are at it too. Going back and playing it, I give this game a lot of slack because it does have such a fun style and it is so cool. But to actually play it, it's not as fun. And even thinking back, maybe it never really was quite as fun as it felt like, because you are just trying to hit buttons, and it's not like you're hitting them. It is to the rhythm, but it's more you're just watching PaRappa's face pass on a dotted line, and when you see that button, you push it as it passes. And it's actually pretty hard to get the timing down of when it passes. A lot of times you feel like you nailed it, and then it'll say you didn't. And the rating system is cool, good, bad, and awful. And if you do well twice, you'll move up. If you do poorly twice, you'll move down a level. And you have to be on good at the end to win, and that's all you need. However you proceeded through the rest of it, it doesn't really matter. Unless you got awful and then you hit twice bad again, then you'll just lose and it'll start over. But otherwise, basically all it comes down to is you need to be doing well at the very end, and that's kind of not the best system. If it was more point based or something, that'd be a little better. It's also very, very frustrating if you're doing well and then you just do poorly right at the end, maybe just the last two, then you still lost. You still have to do it again, and that is something that's come up. So it's actually not as fun to play. It may be more fun to just watch someone who's good at playing it, and you can't reach the cool level until you already beat the game and you're replaying it. Then you can get cool, and what cool does is it changes things and kind of puts it in a freestyle mode for you, but it is also kind of hard to freestyle to the music when you're just pushing buttons and you don't necessarily know what sound they're going to make when you push them, and it's hard to know what they're going to deem as good and bad. So that part is kind of strange. So getting the timing of your rap down is pretty difficult, and even when you're doing well, sometimes you'll just start doing poorly and you won't really be able to figure out why. For instance, I beat the whole game we were watching. I was doing pretty well. Then I went back to show Bennett the first song again, and I was struggling to get through it at the end because it kept saying I was doing poorly at the end of the song. So those kind of things are kind of frustrating with it. When you're doing really well, it's really fun. And when I do the best on it is when I'm not concentrating on where PaRappa is moving as much as just kind of like feeling the music and pushing it and not focusing that closely on it. But it is really fun to watch the whole story of it and everything. Do you have anything you want to add about the game?
That it is cool and awesome and fun.
Yeah, it's just got a really funny story, interesting characters. Yeah, so I just looked at the back right now, and it's 1997, so 20-year-old game. It's still fun. It's still worth trying, and if you don't try it, at least watch it on YouTube. One of the things I didn't mention is, depending on which level you're at, the song will change, the music will change, what it's showing will change. So that's kind of fun that as you get worse, like, you'll see things falling apart more. Like in one level where you're making a cake and a chicken and a TV's teaching you, as you get to bad, the chicken will come out of the TV and kind of get in your face while you're making it. And if you get to awful, the chicken's face will turn red and the chicken will be really angry while you're making stuff. Or one where you're driving a car and you're trying to get your driver's license, and the worse you get, the worse you're driving, so you're swerving all over the road and your car's falling apart. So that kind of stuff's, even though it's frustrating when you're doing poorly, at least it's also entertaining.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because on the first level with the karate teacher, like when he gets it bad, he's like sitting like this, and then he just falls on the ground. That's weird.
The game also doesn't make a ton of sense. Don't go into it expecting like a real story. It's just fun.
It's kind of weird though. Now he does that. I never get why.
Everything about it's pretty weird, I'd say. And there were a couple sequels to it. I'm not as familiar with them. I have one of them. I have Jamma Lammy, so maybe I'll give that one a try again. I never was as into that one. And then they did make PaRappa The Rapper 2 for PlayStation 2, which I didn't even realize till fairly recently, so I would like to pick that up and see if it's as fun as this one. But He was kind of one of the unofficial PlayStation mascots, and people were pretty into it at the time. Like it was a pretty big game.
I'm a mascot.
Because the PlayStation never really had a mascot. It was stuff like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot and Lara Croft.
That's what I'm about to say. It probably seems like Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
I'm not saying, okay, Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, you're doing it on purpose. But Crash was probably the closest thing they had to a real mascot. But anyway, PaRappa was up there too, and still cool as me, because I'm looking pretty cool, right?
I'm cooler. Hi, Ted.
And I'd say the game's, even though it's flawed, it's still got enough charm that it's worth looking into.
I'm a magic charm. I'm gonna punch on Great Tiger. Oh my god, that's hard. It's dizzy.
You can't do real magic like Great Tiger?
It's dizzy. Oh god.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms. Alright, well, that's it for now.
Hey, and make sure you see the secret scene. You can see people like growing much more bigger. Ooh, I'm growing bigger. Now I'm small. And I'm getting. Oh god, no. My aunt. Ah. Okay, I'm back. Just by eating pills. Remember, folks, pills can be dangerous. So go on.